Hello and welcome to Paragon City Games Friday Night Magic.
Legacy.
All legacy, all the time. Welcome in, everyone.
3 gorgeous rounds of legacy action coming your way.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. We've got a brand new feature match area all set up for today. I'm pretty happy about it. I know our manager Jaden. He put a lot of work into getting all of. We had just boxes and boxes of bulk.
Yep.
Just kind of stored towards like right next to our back door, and now we've got those cleared out, and we got to move our feature match table. This is good news because more people can fit into our store now.
Yeah, and so, the table won't get bumped, and we can keep a closer eye on things.
Yeah, it means less setup for us.
Yeah,
so that's always nice
for sure.
But I think we're about to have our round 1 go up here in a moment. I heard them announce the player list, so it should be great.
They just bumped back the start time by 1 minute.
one entire minute.
Yep.
Here, let me get the. Here, I'll update that 1 minute.
Okay.
And make sure that's
keep them honest.
Keep them honest. There we go. It's already past that minute.
Well, and
Still
I guess
time.
we've got some legacy.
Still time to start.
Legacy action coming your way.
Yeah, guess so. Hoping to overhear some people getting rounds up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What do you want to see today?
What do I want to see? I want to see the things that I always want to see, and that is some weird non-blue grindy weird deck. I don't know.
Les was telling me he's got some pretty spicy cards today.
He's trying some things out with that guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, don't be terribly surprised if you see a black-white zombie taking cards from an opponent.
A black-white zombie taking cards?
Mm-hmm.
Can't even think of what that is.
I'm thinking that means Tide Hollow Scholar.
Tide Hollow Scholar? That's a good card.
Is that a zombie?
I think it is. Got a lower player count today. Start time. All right. Oh man,
Pairing's just going up.
Look at that. We have Les and Theo first round.
Nice.
Okay.
It is a zombie. Okay, cool. And that's my guess. I thought it was too, but you can never tell. Like, what exactly is a Tide Hollow Scholar? Like a scholar? I don't know.
Skull? I don't know. I mean, I guess a skull would lead to skeleton more than it would lead to zombie. Let's call it a skeleton. Let's just not even. All right. Looks like we're gonna have players sitting down here momentarily. We can get started in just a moment. All right, we're gonna have Paul versus Josh. I think this is, yeah. Paul versus Josh, and then we've got Theo versus Les. Guess we'll see what Les is doing then.
I'm excited to see it.
Theo's been on a lot of different things, so we'll have to see what he's up to. But until he's there we go. There we go.
Awesome.
Getting some magic starting.
Yeah, I've been waiting all week to see more Legacy. I haven't had a chance to play all week.
Man, I've seen nothing but modern.
Yeah.
Like everywhere I look, people are just like modern, and I'm just like, eh.
And everyone's like, Jace, Bloodblade. And
I'm just like,
been playable
I'm like,
the whole time.
We've been playing those.
This is not new news.
I've gotten to catch up with a couple streams though. I've definitely seen people going a little crazy over the fact that Jace is back.
I was kind of surprised to see it myself. Like, I thought Bloodbraid, yeah, okay, sure, but Jace still seems pretty high on the power scale to mess with the format that's already
good,
pretty solid.
It has been, sure has been.
Know, like, the format's already pretty diverse and things aren't broken, so my bet was if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm certainly happy to play Jason Modern. But...
Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to play Bloodbraid again, which I just sat down and played a couple games with Bryce. He wanted to test a Modern game, and
well, he's trying both, isn't he?
Yeah. His deck is like the greediest thing ever. I want to say he won 2 games and I won 1, but John doesn't really beat decks that are like turn 1 Ancestral Visions, and I'm just like, well, I'm not. I might be a little behind on cards. It's almost like he's trying to make like a shardless deck.
Yeah,
but in Modern, which shardless is a deck that we haven't seen in Legacy for a little while. I mean, we still see Shardless Agent a little bit in Alurin, but it's definitely seen a downtick in play.
Yeah, certainly not the way it used to be.
Yeah. All right, looks like they're getting started. Excellent. You always know it's less because he has the mat with all the poker. You know, all the base cards. Mr. Less is a professional poker player.
Is he? Wow.
That's how he's made his living. So
there you go.
A pretty cool guy. So we've got a tropical island to start things off, and a Deathrite.
Okay.
And sure enough, there's a Tide Hollow Scholar at the front of Less's hand.
So there you go. There's our zombie in waiting. It looks like the draw for Less was Batter Skull.
We've got a Verdant Catacombs. This is going to find probably a Scrubland or a basic. I imagine a Scrubland. Maybe a piece of Hand Hate, maybe a Fatal Push.
Sure.
Swords. I don't know. I think he wants to get this Deathrite off.
I think if you could get the Deathrite off here, you definitely want to do it now before any mana gets added to Theo's pool. And here we see his swords come in pretty quickly. That's also going to clear the way for the Liliana that's in Less's hand to do some more work.
Welcome in, Jorgensen.
Theo ponders.
Haven't gotten a good look at Theo's hand yet.
Yeah, hard to say. I see an Underground Sea. It could be 4-color. Could just be Sultai.
Yeah, so you can see a Baleful Strix, a Jace, 2 Jace, and a Tropical Island.
Yeah. Could be like Bug Delverish type things as well.
He might just be on Sultai control. I think he has been on Sultai in the past, but we've got a Collective Brutality. Oh, you know what we haven't fixed? The lights.
Ah, yeah.
The lights in the back. Oh, this is funny. So we see this is a Slaughter Games that gets Collective Brutality. That was one of the cards that we did not know. So Slaughter Games is a card that it's 2 and a black instant. And your opponent, your target player has to sacrifice
to the slaughter, not
to the slaughter.
Yeah.
Oh, Slaughter Games. My bad.
Yeah.
That's a different one. To
Yeah.
the Slaughter.
To the
Thank
slaughter.
you. Thank you. Yeah. So he had to sacrifice, or the card makes a person sacrifice a creature or planeswalker, and both if there's delirium.
Yeah.
I believe. Getting my card names wrong. This is why I bring Matt.
One of those slaughters.
One of the slaughters. The art on the card's really cool. It has like this gigantic hand like reaching for this like little lamb. Let's go into the slaughter.
So Theo doing some more pondering here.
I think he's looking for land. Or no, because he had the drop.
He had that land. He might be looking for something to... Oh, is that Azcanta?
Yep, this is search for Azcanta.
He might be looking for something to protect a Jace or to clear the way for a Jace to come down and start doing some work on the board.
Third land comes down for less. I see a sword of some kind. I think it's Light and Shadow. Is that Light and Shadow or Feast and Famine? I couldn't quite see. And this is a Tide Hollow Sculler. Yeah, we definitely need to fix the lights.
Yep. Tide Hollow Sculler takes Snapcaster, I believe.
I think it's Baleful Strix.
Baleful Strix?
I think so.
Can't tell with the glare.
I know.
As Azcanta triggers, Theo looks at top card. He's thinking a long time over it. Maybe it's fourth land.
I mean, he pondered and kept, didn't he?
That's what I thought. Oh, it is fourth land.
All right, we're gonna have an immediate fetch. I think we're about to see a Jace.
Jace does a pretty good job at keeping Tide Hollow Sculler from looking like a card
at all. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think Les is anywhere near getting this Batterskull down or this other sword that he has. And I don't think the sword gives pro blue.
Yeah, not much pressure on Les's end at the moment. We do know that there's a Liliana. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see that Liliana just jam into play last turn. He did see Theo's hand earlier, so... but I guess he was a little bit worried about it.
You were right, it was a Snapcaster. Definitely was a Snapcaster. So now he's holding Snapcaster, Jace?
Yeah.
I thought he did have a Baleful Strix. Interesting. Fourth land comes down for less. You see a Liliana. And I imagine this is just going up.
Yeah.
What else? What else are you doing with it?
Uptick.
Yep. The second Jace hits the bin.
You're just trying to keep them out of cards as best you can.
Snapcaster and Jace. What is this? Modern?
All modern playable cards on Theo's side, aside from the lands. We'll just ignore
modern lands do not look like that.
No.
I checked.
Yeah. Oh, but if only they did.
Alright, land number 5. And this is going to be really easy to answer. He just gets the Snapcaster this to the Slaughter back and get Liliana.
Does he have Delirium? Oh, he doesn't need to.
No, Delirium. He doesn't need Delirium.
Yeah.
There's only one thing to sacrifice
gotcha.
on Les's board. Yeah, I think that's Sultai.
Yeah.
Get that deck name in there.
Yeah. Kill your Liliana.
Let's take a look at To the Slaughter. To the Slafter. card that's only been out for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Left the standard format recently, but still very powerful.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that catches Merit Lage.
Yeah,
Also
lots of people are already playing the Edict effect for cards like Merit Lage or True Name Nemesis, so why not just have it deal with Planeswalkers as well?
Yep.
Can be a little bit weaker in some situations if you don't have Delirium online, but...
I don't think that's usually the case, but there are definitely times where there's like 2 or 3 creatures plus Planeswalker, and you're like, okay, well maybe, you know, at least I'm getting the Jace and like maybe a Baleful Strix along with it, or something along the lines of that. So I believe the card that we like can't see at all is Dark Confidant. I want to say I saw that in Les's hand. And poor us just had this huge glare because we moved our feature match area and the lights were not on our mind.
Yeah.
We switched the lights for the other feature match area, but
we were too excited to get it going.
Yep, too excited. This was our test run, and immediately we're like, oh look, something to fix.
And Liliana going on the other side there, and this is
the last hope.
The last hope,
and it does get Dark Confidant.
Yeah, kills it pretty easily. Here we see Theo thinking about doing something to that Tide Hollow Scholar. Opts to go for the top card of Les's library. Says sure, keep that.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to deal with the Tide Hollow Scholar right now. Now he's probably going to have to do something about Batterskull. But he can just uptick Liliana on the Tide Hollow Scholar and then bounce the Batterskull token.
Yeah.
The germ.
Well, and he's kind of in the same position he was in before, as Jace has the same number of counters as it would if he just let it through. He decides to block with the Snapcaster instead, make Jace a little bit higher. Force Les to spend a bit more mana on that Batterskull over the next couple turns.
Alright.
Azcanta has been found.
If I could learn how to use a mouse. It's right there, just in case anybody needed to know. Yeah, and we've got a downtick on Jace. This is going to get rid of the germ. And Theo's firmly in the driver's seat now. Like, when there was one Planeswalker on the board, it was like, okay, well, you know, Les could still get there.
Yep.
But now Liliana gets the downtick, gets Snapcaster back.
Yeah.
He's got Azcanta going. Jace is in tick-up mode. And did he use Jace?
He bounced the Batterskull token.
Oh, that was this turn. Okay. This is a Thoughtseize.
So probably prompt a Snapcaster.
There's nothing to Snapcaster right now. If he did, he'd just be playing a 2/1. He might just want to let this happen and then activate Azcanta afterward. Yeah, so there's Force of Will and there is Snapcaster Mage. He's going to take the Force of Will. I would hope that he'd have something he'd want to resolve. And he does. Stuffforge. And Theo's only 1 mana off from being able to use the Snapcaster to flashback Force.
Yeah.
But he'll activate Azcanta in response. We'll see 4 cards. There's a Ponder, a Misty Rainforest, a Counterspell. And I think the Counterspell will do.
Yeah, Counterspell.
That'll do.
Oh, okay. Just what I needed.
Mm-hmm. Had it. Theo's just over here winning with a bunch of modern cards and I guess a couple counterspells.
Counterspell is not a modern card, that's for sure.
Just Liliana and Jace and Azcanta.
Yeah.
Making it all happen.
Jace doing what it does best, looking at the top card of your opponent's library and bringing you closer and closer to Doom. At this point, I don't know of many cards that Les has that gets him out of this sort of semi-lock that Theo's got going. It'd probably have to be... I don't know. What about, like, his own To the Slaughters? Like, something like that.
I don't even think that... I mean, that would be good right here. I'd probably get rid of Lily and a
Death, right?
Yeah, land's not going to do much.
No.
He can't bring back and play Batterskull.
It is a fetch land which will mess with Jace going after the top of his library a little bit, so not the absolute worst draw in the world, but certainly not what you want to see.
No. Escan doesn't being activated, and it looks like a Force of Will is going to be the take.
Oof.
Good luck now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Jace is going to take this game.
Yeah.
At first, I wasn't sure which route he would take to go for the win, but
sure.
Looks like Jace is going to be the fastest one from this point. So how do you like this Sultai control deck in comparison to the Delver deck that you've been messing with?
I think as far as a controlled deck goes, it's fine. Baleful Strix is a really good card in the format. It's really nice to have added counter spells and that sort of thing, but I find that it has a little bit of trouble closing out the game.
Okay. Whereas the Sultai Delver deck has Goyfs, it has Tombstalker, and it has, Delvers and Death Rights.
Its things pack a bit more of a punch. This is kind of a death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. None of the win cons are particularly good at winning, but, well, they're good at winning. They're
good at winning. They're just a little bit on the slow side. As Kanta takes a lot of mana to get going. And against some of these faster decks, you can just kind of be out before you get good ground position.
Can't quite see what the card Les just drew is. Dark Confidant? No, this is a Hymn to Tarok.
Hymn to Tarok. I think Les is just kind of looking for a little bit more information. We know he's got the Force of Will. Here comes Snapcaster. He's going to target a counterspell and go that route with it.
Gonna protect those other cards, and
yep,
that'll get a scoop from Les. Les is like, all right, that's the last straw. Probably dead a couple turns ago, but he may have had something. Let's take a look at our backup match. Not sure what game these guys are in.
Monster and Mentor and some islands in play on Josh's side.
No idea what this card is. A couple Ghost Quarters. There's a Rashad Import, a Thespian Stage, and a Taiga on the lands player side. We got a Ghost Quarter targeting Flooded Strand and
Surgical.
Yeah, Surgical Loam. There's got to be something that happens all the time. It's Holy Light. Of course, it's Holy Light.
So radiant.
So radiant. Paul's hand is so pure.
I like how that Surgical is just sitting over there still.
Yeah. Hasn't resolved yet, jeez. Or has it?
It has.
It did resolve. It's resolved all the way.
Yep, those.
It's a permanent.
Those are exiled. Yeah, it's in play.
It's in play. So only 3. I only see 3 Life from the Loams exiled. Looks like Paul took one out. That is interesting. I didn't know lands could do that. Wait, you can take out Life from the Loam? Strange.
Okay. Looks like the top card that we can't see is a
Tireless Tracker. Top card, Exploration. And then he just got a couple of clues, so there's a Tireless Tracker on the board.
And the second one played is a Tireless Tracker, and then he played 2 lands, so clues.
Solved it.
Yeah.
See, this is why there are commentators. We'll keep track of what cards are on the board. And poor Josh is over here with no white mana. But he has Jace.
Jace is a good card for sure. Jace will bounce that Tireless Tracker. And
get in.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Paul's down to 10.
Mentor is a pretty quick clock here, and Josh not really hurting for lands. He doesn't have any white, and Wasteland will keep him off, and Port will keep him off of that red.
Oh, and he has his Emrakul and an Ahiri in hand, unable to cast both, and a Swords. And Tireless Tracker's back. I'm sure we're going to see a couple lands here. We got like Dark Depths.
Stage is in play. Here comes another land, and we could see a 2020 here.
I think we're going to see it pretty darn soon.
I think without being able to threaten any white mana, I'm not sure. I think I would have saved that Jace activation until after combat, and that forces Paul not to pull up Merit Lage in combat. But maybe that's not important to Josh. I don't know.
He did find a Flooded Strand and a Tarn, so he has a couple of ways to get white mana for the turn. The question is, yeah, he should be able to play Swords, I think. Maybe if Ghost Quarter and Wasteland were untapped, then he'd have a hard time playing Swords before the Merit Lage has been made.
So I think he's just gonna cast Engineered Explosives for 0 to get the prowess trigger and the monk, and
he has a Brainstorm, but he's just gonna send in
with the team.
So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Brainstorm is definitely threatening lethal. So this is going to force a Merit Lage to be created.
Lage comes in. Josh cracks fetch. Gonna find a white source.
There's the Brainstorm.
Okay. Oh!
He's trying to see if he can get enough
Yeah,
damage
he's trying to see if he can get enough to kill
This
off
would be
of prowess alone here.
so. Brainstorm makes this 9 damage.
That might be enough.
How does this match usually go? From what I've been told, MG Flory, this is usually Miracle's match, but there are some cases where a Merit Lage just can't be beaten.
And Predict was able to get enough damage for that
to call it game right there, huh? All right, let's get back to our other match. It looks like game 2. You think game 2 already ended, or do you think that happened? Who knows?
Who knows?
All right.
All we know is we're starting up the next game over here.
Yeah, Battaglia, we gotta. We changed where our feature match was, and definitely forgot about the whole lighting thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we've definitely got a glare on the person who is on the right side. Ooh. So this is a Deathrite Shaman, and he got to start the game with a Leyline of the Void.
Yeah. Leyline not doing a ton against Theo. Stops Snapcaster, stops a little bit of Liliana, but still able to get value off of a lot of the cards.
Yeah, I don't think this is a card that Les is like ecstatic to see, but it's fine.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
The fact that he plays a turn 1 Deathrite Shaman, you've got to feel a little worse about the Deathrite Shaman, because now you have to fuel your own by your, just by yourself. So here's a Stoneforge Mystic. So here's a Force of Will. Now this is a black-white deck, and it does have a little splash of green, but I'm pretty sure he's got a Savannah and a Horizon Canopy. No black mana.
That's what I see. Yeah.
Now he can crack the. I was gonna say he could use the Deathrite Shaman off of cracking the Horizon Canopy, but it doesn't look like that's gonna be the case.
Though. Push that elf off a cliff.
Sometimes they just deserve it,
They died. Bayou is the grab for Theo there, and let's see if he has a follow-up play. I guess would be a Deathrite of his own.
A Deathrite or a hand disruption card. Yeah. Still no black mana.
Yep, and I don't see a third land for less. I see a lot of 3-drops in his hand. Lingering Souls, Vindicate. No mana troubles for Theo, though, as he drops Leovold right on 3.
There's an attack for 1. Yep, Thought seizes the draw, and he's going to have to pass the turn back immediately.
Yeah, Les was really relying on that Deathrite on his side to pull a lot of weight this game, and getting it Fatal Push pretty much immediately just left him in this kind of awkward situation where he now has to sack his Horizon Canopy to try and hit a black source.
Vindicate is a grand card, I agree. So he didn't end up using his Horizon Canopy, and then was able to find his black source there.
Ooh, and we're going to see a Thoughtseize, and Theo says, "Yep, I'll trigger Leovold first."
Yep. And I do see a Force of Will. Can't quite see the other two. There's a Tarmogoyf, and I think the Tarmogoyf is the draw. Can't quite tell what the other card is. This is a Force pitching Search for Azcanta. I think he wants this Tarmogoyf. think he wants that Tarmogoyf a lot.
Yeah. And Azcant is a pretty easy pitch with Leyline in play. It does kind of filter, acting as like a Scry 1, but you can do better things.
Mm-hmm. So, and even this Tarmogoyf is going to have a little problem staying large, but we do see 3 card types.
Yeah.
So that's what that die will signify there.
Search is pretty common in a couple decks.
Actually, Search is becoming common. Just flat out common. It's actually just a great card in Legacy. The 4-color check pile decks, Grixis and Sultai control decks, and then Brian's shown a lot in Food Chain, and then Miracles as well.
Yeah, not as much in Bug as Hates Control says, but it's starting to pick up a little bit.
So where there is no graveyard for Theo, this Liliana is going to be upticking a lot.
Yep.
It still hasn't seemed to have been able to find our dice, even though they're literally all over the table. But
that's okay.
On the bright side, we can read them all right. I hope those are all right for you at home too. Well, no, he did find the dice for Tarmogoyf. That's funny.
All right, in comes team. A 0/1 Deathrite blocks.
Yeah, MG Fuller, we definitely see it happen every once in a while, and that's going to be the match. Theo's going to take this one pretty darn easily.
Yeah. All right.
All right, let's catch up with what's going on over here. Oh boy, what is this card? Is that a Humility? Or no. No, it's a Disenchant? I'm not used to that art, but I think it is a Disenchant. Because there's a choke that just hit the bin.
Certainly not one you want to see as Miracles.
Alright, so Life from the Loam has already been surgical extracted from Paul's library. And choke has hit the board and then was disenchanted. Looks like Josh is has been able to stop Paul pretty well.
Definitely handling some threats so far. Paul still with a Thespian Stage and a Rishadan Port in play. Here we're going to see Snapcaster, and we're going Pondering.
Ooh, Brainstorm is the take.
I always forget the name of that red card.
From the Ashes?
From the Ashes. That might be a big one here.
It's pretty good. There's one basic in most lands decks, just a single forest, and From the Ashes would clear up this board. Life from the Loam has already been extracted. Now he just needs to be able to find land plus it to get around these Rishadan Port, or this Rishadan Port.
Right.
And we're not entirely sure what this Thespian Stage is a copy of, but I would guess it's another Rishadan Port. Here we have a predict.
In for 2 with Snapcaster. And Josh has the lands and fetch lands to get around, so I think we're going to see some fireworks go off over here.
I think so too. Kind of excited to see it too. Okay, so that's what happened earlier in the game. I saw the counterbalance in the graveyard. It did end up Krosan gripped. Getting gripped by the Krosans.
Crucible of Worlds.
He has to look at his opponent's graveyard and go, well, From the Ashes looks worse. Still great.
Still
great.
Very good. have to imagine that's a tireless tracker. Yes.
Yep. There's the clue. Nice card naming.
Yeah.
It looks like all the other cards.
Right?
It is kind of funny how well we can see the lands, but we can't see anything he puts above the lands is just gone. The clue holds up. The clue holds up.
And Swords comes in, takes care of that tireless tracker.
An attack for 2.
Paul's still at a pretty comfortable 19.
And here's Jace. I think Jace is going to be face sealing. It's couldn't quite see what that was. Looked like a green card though. Maybe an exploration.
Josh seems unfazed by it, whatever it is.
Yeah. Woodfall Hills. Maybe it was Woodfall Hills. I don't think so, but cracking now would be interesting. I think you'd want to wait for another Fate Seal.
Yep.
There's a crack of the clue. Oh, it's a Crossing Grip. Okay. Not doing anything at the moment. And we're gonna see a port.
Port on red.
Surgical Extraction number 2 off the top there. Or 3. He has 2 in hand now.
Wow.
That's probably all of them in his 75.
Those aren't really going to be doing much here, I think, but you never know. It might be able to stop, like, you might be able to get, like,
I mean, Gamble and Crossing Grip are in the graveyard. Like, Crossing Grip probably wouldn't be the worst thing to get rid of, but
I think if you were going to Crossing Grip, you'd do it before you played out Counterbalance.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to get Crossing Gripped now. I don't think Josh is going to care too much about that, though.
Certainly not. If Josh hits stage, does Paul have any way to win other than, like, Molten Vortex?
Probably not, and we know that those are From the Ashes in Josh's hand. I'd imagine he's going to team up this From the Ashes with a Surgical on stage.
Right, that's what I'm thinking of here.
Tap down your Scalding Turn. Okay.
Yeah.
It's tapped.
Punishing Fire. That is a card that could be surgical as well, so Josh still does have targets.
Oh, he's going to use both Surgicals here.
Interesting.
Maybe Josh didn't see the second Grove.
Could be.
No, he lets that happen. Interesting. I don't think that went to Josh's plan at all.
No.
I don't think he would have done that if he didn't feel like he was getting rid of it. I bet you he just saw that tapped Grove and was like, all right, fire all cylinders, we got this. This is an exploration.
Mm-hmm. 2 explorations. Different than 2 explorers.
Very.
Jace with an uptick looks at top card. says that's fine, keep that there. And Josh, really being patient, but now is the time where he's going to go for some land destruction. And
from the ashes,
that's a pretty big hit.
Josh gets to search for 6 basics. Paul gets to search for what, 5, but he has 1.
Yep.
He does have Crucible of Worlds, so he's going to be able to, be playing these lands pretty quickly. He's got 2 explorations, so he can play 3 lands from the graveyard next turn. But the point is that surgical gets to
yeah, and Snapcaster.
Okay. Oh, okay. Here's Disenchant. There we go. Snapcaster, Disenchant, the Crucible. He's probably gonna hit the Thespian stage as well, and now this leaves leaves Paul with
Paul says, "Nah, I can't deal with that."
Nothing. And Josh is gonna take this round 2-0, as far as we know. I don't think there was a game in there that we missed. Maybe though. Maybe.
And that'll do it for round 1.
That's a good round.
Yeah,
it's a good round.
Some interesting stuff going on there. Plus, we gotta see just about as close to balance as I've seen in a while.
Yeah, definitely.
One-sided Armageddon.
It is surprising how crucial Life from the Loam is to lands.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll see Life from the Loam get surgicaled, and they just have Thespian Stage and Dark Depths, and they're just like, don't worry about it. It's all good. Yeah. I've got a Crop Rot or whatever, and they're okay. But man, sometimes that gets surgical, and they just look at their hand and go, I have 6 lands. Like,
this doesn't do much. Yeah.
This is what I have. Shoot. Some decks they are just not going to beat without Life from the Loam.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those matchups where they're going to have a hard time between Council's Judgment and Swords to Plowshares.
Right. And we saw that Josh was able to attack on several different ways, like to interrupt what Paul was trying to get done.
Yes.
So it wasn't just the one way of like, oh, it's got these surgicals. It's also the Jace. It's also
the Disenchant.
Yeah.
And like once you've done one, Snapcasters are now another.
Right.
And pretty crucial when it's like, all right, well let's Swords to Plowshares 1, Meryl Age, and then another one comes down. You're just like, that's fine. You have 20 more life.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm going to win with a bunch of prowess triggers. So.
For sure.
Or a Jace. I hear Jace is like okay at winning games.
Sometimes.
In multiple formats, actually.
Yeah.
I guess it's not technically unbanned yet, huh? Not in paper. Interesting topic, though. So the reason, speaking more about the Jace and Bloodbraid banning.
Yeah.
Or unbanning, sorry. But they decided to unban in Moto, and then like after the weekend, they're like, okay, we're gonna unban these because we don't want to ruin anybody's testing that they've done for these upcoming GPs.
Yeah.
And so next thing you know, people are just like up in arms about them switching it on Moto.
Yeah.
Because now they're trying to test for these GPs, and every single deck that they're playing against is a Jace deck.
Jace Bloodbraid.
Oh, how unfortunate. I mean, I'd probably be pretty mad if I was going to one of those GPs too.
Yeah, I think with things like this, you just kind of have to rip the Band-Aid off. Like, you just have to do it all at once or not.
And Bryce was talking to me before this event, and he was going, so did you see that like there was like a good number of decks that got published for the week that like didn't have Jace in them? And I go, it's probably all the people who like are playing decks this upcoming weekend with no Jace.
Yeah.
And he's like, I guess it did get unbanned on like a Tuesday anyway. It could easily have been some Monday decks that got published. And kind of interesting.
Well, time will tell, and we'll see what happens with that with Modern. But Jace certainly has a track record of not being the healthiest for formats.
No.
But in Legacy, though, Jace is okay.
Jace works well in Legacy. It is a solid win con.
So I don't know. Maybe it'll be all right.
Maybe. I tried to give, like, because we talked about this a lot when this happened on Tuesday. Bryce and I talked quite a bit about it, and Bryce really thinks that Jace is going to get banned.
Yeah.
Again, he's like, this card is too powerful, and here I am going, I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I like Jace. I like Bloodbraid. Already I can tell that Bloodbraid is a great card in the format.
Yeah.
I do not think it's too powerful, but I think Jace could be.
I think it'll be really interesting to see what the best Jace build is, because Bloodbraid's a lot easier to figure out. If you're playing a red-green deck and the curve goes to 4, you should probably be playing Bloodbraid.
Probably.
And if it doesn't go to 4, well, maybe you should see if you can make it go up to 4 to play Bloodbraid.
If it only goes up to 3, you're like, if your whole deck is it doesn't work well with counter spells.
Yeah.
I have already seen people. I think I mentioned this before, but Bryce was messing with a deck that had Ancestral Visions in it.
Yep.
It's just value.
Yeah.
It plays like a Shardless deck where like you can play it early, you can play Ancestral Visions late, but there are going to be those times where
you hit. Yeah.
Where you hit Ancestral Visions off a Cascade, and it's just really, really powerful.
And that feels great, by the way.
I'm going to pay 4 mana for my 3/2 haste and draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. but these things have been in Legacy for a little while.
Sure.
And as I said earlier, Shardless hasn't been a thing.
Right.
It kind of got pushed out of the format.
Yeah.
And if that's something that's not really a part of Legacy, then I support that being in another format, right? Like if it's not quite there for Legacy, I'm okay with that being a part of Modern.
Well, and the thing too is you don't necessarily have the same setup that you do in Legacy that you do like in Modern.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Legacy, you have access to a bunch more things like Ponder and Brainstorm and stuff like that that can set up your cascades. Where in Modern, you're kind of a lot more likely to have to deal with what's on the actual top of your deck.
Agreed. It does. It's just fascinating to me though that their reasoning was, in banning Bloodbraid was to diversify the mid-range decks. That's the reason they banned the card.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're bringing, like, now that it is, they're bringing it back. Isn't Pile a better Shardless deck? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're saying, Nick, is it's not really a part of the format anymore.
Cascading for value isn't as good as it was.
Yeah.
Now I'm still playing Bloodbraids in Legacy Jund. That has Punishing Fire.
Yeah.
It's still very, very good in the Jund deck. But I think these check pile decks want to be doing a little bit more. They don't have slots for a 3-mana 2/2.
Yeah.
That they don't know what they're going to get out of it. They want to play Kolaghan's Command.
Or a 3-mana 3/3 in Leovold.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't cascade into Leovold off of Shardless Agent. That's a problem.
Yeah.
It is.
And Leovold being in the format too is kind of, it's in that same spot, right, where you would want to play Shardless, so they're kind of competing.
Yeah, I think so.
And Leovold just does more.
It does. It's good against a lot of combo decks. It's good against all of the mirror match like decks.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're playing 4-color check pile and your opponent's on 4-color check pile, I'm pretty sure the first one to get a protected Leovold into play has a good chance of winning.
Cascade into Karizev's expertise. Into what are you trying to play off of that?
Yeah, what are you casting off of Karizev's expertise? Just like a Terminate or a Fatal Push, a Lightning Bolt. I don't know. A Tarmogoyf, that'd be pretty good.
Living End.
There you go. Now you can have the Cascade.
You still get your blood rage.
Yeah. Perfect. Collective Brutality. I do think of Karzev's Expertise as a card that's a little more of a sideboard card, but I don't mind the thought of it. There are definitely decks where you're going to be like, oh man, take something good.
Yeah.
Deal with it. So.
It'd be interesting.
I like the cards of Expertise that take Death Shadow.
Yep.
And then you have too high of a life total, so the Death Shadow just dies.
Yep.
That'd be pretty fun. I've never gotten to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Never. So. Well, we're definitely at time in the round. I'm not sure.
Round 2 should be starting pretty soon.
I think so. This way we get 2 more rounds of nice glared cards.
Yes.
It'll be amazing.
Hard mode.
Hard mode.
All that art game playing off.
all the art game. It's true. So usually before the stream starts, Matt and I have, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes where we kind of plan ahead to have that time to fix any issues if we find them. And, if we get set up early, then we'll have just like 10-15 minutes to
twiddle our thumbs
and wait for the tournament to start. And we'll just turn on what's the site, magic.info.
Mm-hmm. Magiccards.info.
Magiccards.info, and we just sit there and
play the art
game. He knows like a lot of the art that I don't, and I know a lot of the art that he does. It kind of is crazy that you'll know one,
yeah,
and then the next one you're like, I have no idea. And I'm like, got it.
Yeah. It's pretty back and forth.
It is. You know a lot more of the older cards than I do. That is for sure. So if none of you have played that game, that'll be
check it out.
And we do play it on hard mode. That's the one you want to do. It's the rares. So
yeah.
Here, so this way people while they're watching the stream can twiddle their thumbs. Yeah. Here.
Impossible mode is really rough.
It's
Have you ever tried it?
Every card.
It's every card. It's also zoomed in a little bit on like a part of the card.
I don't know if I could do that. Easy mode is rare cards from core sets. That does seem very easy.
Yeah.
There's a new player mode. Yeah. Gotta go hard mode.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us today. All 20 of you here in the room. It's great to hang out with you.
20 questions.
20 questions about their art. Yeah.
Wonder what would happen if we just started playing the art game. If people would like that or not.
I don't know.
I never know the artist though. They ask for the artist.
Artist is very hard for me.
I don't
know
very much.
Unless it's like Rebecca Quay or
like Therese Nielsen or
even like RK Post. You can kind of be like
that's one I know pretty well.
Yeah.
I think I could get pretty much any Raymond Swanland.
Well, and like you have the iconic arts that you're always gonna know, like Rob Alexander Lands
and the like Chris Rush cards. Yeah. Definitely. So what's everyone playing in Legacy tonight? I know that we usually have some people chime in a little bit later. we get to hear the news of how they did in Legacy and their FNMs tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Always fun to hear from you guys and what you're playing and what's going down there. Looks like we do have some people sitting down. We've got Calvin and Josh and Aaron and Bryce. We gotta watch Bryce.
Well, yeah. Captain QC wouldn't have it any other way.
It's true.
I think you'll probably see some form of like rug deck that might even run both with Escape Wish tomorrow. Ooh, cool.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And at a 1K.
Cool.
All right. That's exciting.
Best of luck to you, Nick.
That is awesome. Let's see. Let's get our time updated here.
MG, unsure as to what decks will force both in. It'll be kind of interesting to see, or what that shell would even look like. I was thinking some kind of like rug moon deck with Jace. So you're basically playing like blue-red splash green for Blood Raid, or blue-green splash red for Blood Moon.
All right. Well, let's watch some more Magic. We've got Bryce here on your left. And I think he's playing this Teamer Bedlam Reveler deck.
Okay.
I don't even know what to call it.
Teamer Reveler. Okay.
Is it Bedlam? Or I don't even know how to spell it.
B-E-D.
Oh, I spelled it right.
No.
No, dang it. Oh, I forgot the D. Let's call it Reveler. Okay. Teamer Reveler. And look at this. We're all started up.
All right. Caracas Plains in play. Stoneforge getting something.
Looks like a
like it.
Esper Blade or Death and Taxes.
Looks like Death and Taxes. I think that's an Aether Vial.
It is
on one.
Yeah, definitely D&T. Oh my goodness. Can't type today ever. Okay. And Punishing Fire is going to come down and take care of Stoneforge very quickly. Gotta dig Aaron's basic game.
Yeah.
Jeez. The Sunflower.
Very nice.
Beautiful. And so this Teamer Reveler deck, I got to play this one with Bryce on Wednesday, I believe. We went 4-1 in our last round.
Okay.
The deck was really solid. It plays a ton of cantrips. Of course, it's got Lightning Bolt and Revelers, 2 Deck Bait and 2 Jace. It doesn't have a lot of win cons.
You know, I have to say, I really like Dak in a deck like this. It pulls a lot of weight.
It does.
It's able to get your Punishing Fires into the yard. You can pitch them, not feel bad about it. The ult is actually kind of really actionable with so many burn spells and things like that that target your opponent's creatures. And the draw and discard is just awesome.
Something else about this deck, it plays with Snap. One Snap.
Cool.
And it has 3 Snap casters.
Cool.
So you can actually Snap caster Snap.
Nice.
Just saying. So Recruiter finds a Serra Avenger. Can it find Serra Avenger? I thought it was 2 or less. Am I just wrong? Two or less.
The Recruiter?
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to go see what's going on in the round here.
I was right.
There you go.
I had to look up the card and make sure, but trusted my instincts. So he's just going to grab a different card off of this.
Yeah.
Not too much has happened, so... I was like, so what card did you get off this? And he goes, Serra Avenger. And I go, can't do that. And he's like, okay. That is just fine.
Looks like Stoneforge is the go-to.
Okay. Come on, Bryce. Come on. Keep your opponents honest. I'm blaming Bryce on this one.
Blame Bryce.
Always blame Bryce.
Yeah.
It's just what needs to be done.
So another interesting thing that Dak Faden could do, it could come in and steal an Aether Vial to turn it off, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's not a great use, but
you can take it up every turn. If it ever hits 8, you can cast Bedlam off of it.
Bryce is the guy that does the altars.
Yes. The guy on the left playing this sweet Reveler deck. I like this play a lot. I think it should happen.
I mean, it's probably a lot worse than stealing whatever this Stoneforge is getting. But never know. I mean, Batterskull's not that stealable. Plus you catch him off guard.
You definitely can. Would it surprise you? Like, no, Flicker. The problem is once you steal something like that, they can just Flicker Wisp it.
Yeah. Kind of the beauty with that Aether Vial one, though, is if they Flicker Wisp that, it resets back to 0.
Yeah, it does.
It is a Dak Faden.
Yeah, there's definitely one there.
Definitely one in hand.
We've got a Snapcaster. This is targeting Stoneforge Mystic, and then we've got an activation to get Batterskull into play. So the Stoneforge should be dead. Okay. Yep. Activating Aether Vial, saving the
Stoneforge.
Yeah.
Well, the road would be clear to Dak Faden steal a Batterskull here.
Now that a Flicker Wisp has been played, I definitely feel better about it. I do think that there's
a second Flicker Wisp.
Yeah, I think there is.
Yeah.
A Sword of Fire and Ice, a Swords, and a Flicker Wisp. Those are the 3 cards that we see, and then we've got a Jace, a Sweltering Suns, a Dak Faden, and then this Brainstorm sees a Bedlam Reveler, a Force of Will, and a Grove of the Burn Willows. It's hard to tell what he wants here. He does have a Punishing Fire, and Punishing Fire can do work on this board, but there is another Flicker Wisp that can make it look a little worse. He still has to deal with a 4/4 lifelink Vigilance, and Aaron's looking to be in a great position.
Yeah, lots of room to maneuver around, a couple equipment to play around, and Sword of Fire and Ice is really pretty big.
Yeah. 2 Rishadan Ports as well. There's only 3 lands on Bryce's side.
Yeah. Looks like soon to be a 4th, but Bryce swings in. Kind of surprised not to see.
He knows about Punishing Fire, so I would assume the reason he doesn't block there is he doesn't want to get it Punishing Fired. But
not sure I care about the token that much, though. Maybe.
Yeah, Nexium, we are aware of it. We just barely switched where our feature match was, and we haven't fixed the lighting yet. That'll be done by the next time you see us on Tuesday.
Yep. So down comes Dak. And we are going to see a Batterskull switching sides of the board there.
Yeah, it is pretty bad, isn't it?
I like the way Aaron did that. He kept the token facing his way.
Mm-hmm. Still his token.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the turn here, Stoneforge comes back. So now he's got 2 Stoneforge and an Aether Vial. I know it's kind of hard to see the Aether Vial and the Stoneforge due to the glare. But that is what's going on over there. Here's an attack. Oh, it's a Recruiter. My bad, Recruiter. So Recruiter is going to make contact with Dak, and 4 damage will hit Bryce, putting him to 9. Oh, and the Germ, huh? And there's a Thalia. We have an activation of Aether Vial. This is going to flicker
Batter
Skull, and he'll get it back at the end of turn.
And Port.
And Bryce is going to pack it up from there.
Yeah. Too much pressure.
Definitely a dominant game from Aaron there. Well played. He had all the cards he needed.
Yeah. And you can't really fault Bryce for his line there. I think you do have to go for the Batter Skull and just kind of hope that he doesn't have a second Flicker Wisp. You saw he already had one, and if you do last through a turn, you're pretty much able to stabilize that board. Unfortunately, if you're Bryce, there was a second Flicker Wisp.
Yep.
And that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, so this is the 4-color control deck that Stryfo plays. It's a 4-color control deck that has Grove and Punishing Fire, and then we've got a Baleful Strix in play. Got to mention that since there's a huge glare on it.
Oh yeah.
The lands are a little less important. Yeah, the Teamer deck is sweet. I don't know if you saw Bryce and I play it on Wednesday morning, but the deck felt great. We just cantripped every turn. That's all we did. Just wins games.
Just draw cards.
Yeah. There's like Lightning Bolt a thing or like 2, and just the game ends. It's weird. Brainstorm. We find a Deathrite Shaman, and that'll get cast. There's Swords on Deathrite. And it looks like he's going to find that Punishing Fire in a turn.
I think Punishing Fire got returned because of the life gain off of...
yeah.
Yeah.
Off of Swords.
Off of Swords.
Well, it's whenever your opponent gains life, right?
It is. So maybe that was just end of turn.
Yeah, it was. Terminus. So Terminus is going to get rid of a Baleful Strix.
Yep.
Not the best Terminus I've ever seen. Return and deal 2 more. So just ticking away at Josh's life total, but Punishing Fire is a hard card to deal with. All right, looks like our other match is just getting started, so let's jump back over there, and we'll catch up with Calvin and Josh
Bryce
in between these games.
Ponder. And Aaron plays Land Go with one of those awesome planes, Sunflower Plains.
There's a Wasteland, and we've got a Thalia. This is not a card that Bryce really wants to be around.
Yeah.
He functions typically on like 3 to 4 land, maybe, or to be able to function well. And Thalia really changes that. And Aaron's hand looks to be stacked with creatures. Okay, 2 mana, and we got a Lightning Bolt.
Yep.
Just untap. Oh man, empty board Dak would be so good. He has it. Look at that.
Nice.
Does Bryce have Crucible? No, he does not. So we've got an uptick by Dak.
2 cards drawn, look to be fetched land and cantrip.
Welcome in, Vaticide. Good to see you.
How's it going? Good to see you.
Alright, Scalding Tarn and Brainstorm are the cards discarded. You're going to see a lot of cantrips get discarded by Dak. This is a 12 cantrip deck.
Is that a Mirren Crusader?
It is.
Play?
Mirren Crusader, 2/2, double strike, protection from black and from green.
Dak Optics.
Does not have protection from Lightning Bolt.
Or Jace.
Or Jace. So I imagine we're going to see one of those come down here and deal with this. Oh, he has a Sweltering Suns.
A lot of burn in that grip there.
Discard Sweltering Suns and Jace. Yep, play another one.
Plays Jace.
Down tick. So this is like opposite of last game.
Yeah.
Where like we see Aaron just get this tempo, just roll with it. Just Bryce can't seem to get any value or board state, and this looks exactly opposite. Aaron's got three lands. He can only cast one spell a turn right now, unless he has like an Aether Vial or a Mom. And Bryce just has it all. He's got a cantrip, a lightning bolt, and what? Another lightning bolt? Is that, or no, a pithing needle. Yeah, look at that. Just so easy.
Yeah, we do see Aaron with a vial in hand, but he's having to recast a creature every turn to even keep any amount of pressure on Bryce here. And Dak threatening to ultimate pretty soon.
Yeah, and Dak Vaden hasn't quite been able to find a Punishing Fire yet. I think that's the card that Bryce is going to be aggressively looking for with Dak. Pretty good in this matchup. He's already got the Grove in play. Jace is going to tick up. Put that card on bottom, and I imagine we're going to see a Preordain and a Lightning Bolt this turn. I'd imagine. I could see a Lightning Bolt next turn, but at least a Preordain. 2 lands. These are going to be put to the bottom, I'd imagine. And what's the draw there? Was it another Snapcaster? 2 Snapcasters, 2 Lightning Bolts in hand. Lightning Bolt in the graveyard. It's going to be pretty hard for Aaron to have a board state.
Bolt, Snap, Hold, Bolt. Pretty strong moves. So Aaron left with the decision, do I sword? Do I equip? What do I do? Goes to attacks, gets snap bolted pretty quickly. And down comes a Palace
Jailer. And this little crown token that we've got, this is a Monarch token.
Aaron is the Monarch. And that's going to draw him some cards.
Yeah. Bryce's deck isn't very good at dealing combat damage.
Now, I think this is one of the coolest cards that Death and Taxes has at its disposal at the moment. And gets to exile a creature and draw some cards.
There's the Bedlam Reveler. 2 Bedlam Revelers off the top with this Ponder. He probably does want 1.
Yeah, I'd say probably 1. You won't cast it for a minute, but
no. I'd imagine he wants to like end of turn bolt this Jailer and try to get in for 2 with a Snapcaster Mage, because once he gets this, if Bryce is able to get the Monarch token, the game's gonna end.
Yep.
If it hasn't already.
So we see a bolt right here. Jace uptick. And pass turn.
There's a second Caracas in hand for Aaron. It's doing a whole lot of nothing. But we do see a Wasteland come and take care of this Grove. I've heard him. I don't want to give you life.
So down comes Vial. And it looks like Aaron's setting up to play second Caracas into a creature. Looks like another Mirren Crusader. But these two Planeswalkers still doing a lot of work.
Yeah, deck's not all that far from ulting. Now, I don't think an ultimate would be the best in this matchup, but you never know.
Does the ult count abilities as well?
Let's pull it up. Can't remember. I think it's just spells.
Just spells.
Cast a spell that targets one or more permanents.
Okay.
I thought so.
So probably not a ton that doesn't die to bolts being cast on.
Right, exactly. Most of the removal spells that Bryce has are going to kill it.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be able to take advantage of that game possession type thing. Now, how tempted would you be to downtick this deck and just take the vial?
I'd be a little bit interested in doing that, but probably. Well, there we go. We see him take that vial.
Yeah, he wants Aaron doing one thing a turn.
I would have been tempted to wait a turn.
Okay.
And the reason is that Bryce just drew a couple Punishing Fires. And so that's almost like free cards off of deck.
Yeah, another thing to mention is the card that was discarded to Bedlam Reveler, this was a counterspell. Counterspell's not looking against the Vile deck that also has a Crucible or a Cavern in play.
Sure.
But I'm sure there are still things that can. He's like, I want my vial back. All right, you get your vial back. Vial back on Aaron's side, and I'm sure Bryce's deck will have something to say about that at some point. Probably sooner than later.
Sure.
Especially since Punishing Fire can take care of this Flicker Wisp.
And we're gonna see that Monarch token go away, and that'll be the end of the game.
Yeah, Aaron sees that he's about to lose the Monarch, and he's like, I cannot beat this blue-red deck that's drawing 2 cards a turn with, like with the Jace on the board. Like, no. All right, let's check up on our backup match here. Lots of things going on. It looks like there's a bunch of lands, Punishing Fires being all punishing and whatnot, and then we've got a Snapcaster on the board.
On Josh's side, we've got Jace, a lot of lands, and it looks like a Swords that is targeting that Snapcaster.
Now, Punishing Fire is really, really good at dealing with Jace. But where we see Josh's life total so low, I'd imagine these Punishing Fires are just going to kill Josh here in a moment.
Josh, if that is his life total down to 2, looks like it's going to be down to 1 very shortly.
He can't use his fetches. He can't Force of Will at this point. I guess he could Force of Will right now.
Double Punishing Fire in the yard.
Yeah. Without a surgical extraction draw, I just can't see Josh getting out of this one. Ponder still trying to dig a little further.
Snapcaster coming in.
Pretty easy counterspell there.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't want to die right now.
Yeah.
I'd rather die next turn.
Give me a turn.
All right, decks being presented on our main feature match for the round. We'll see if there are any mulligans there, and we'll jump back over here in a moment. for a game 3, Death and Taxes and Team of Reveler. Haven't seen greed cards from Bryce yet, but I happen to know there aren't many. All right, let's jump over. We've got a turn 1 Caracas.
Turn 1 Ponder.
Rest in peace.
Okay.
No.
Good against Reveler.
Yeah. Really good against Reveler. Good against Snapcaster.
Good against Punishing Fire.
All of those things, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that there's a Crossing Grip in Bryce's hand. The question is how easily he can get green mana. There's not a lot of green mana. Oh, he does have a Wooded Foothills. Okay. There's not a lot of it, but man, Sweltering Suns looks mighty fine as well. We've got a basic mountain. And what has Bryce got in store for us? Whole lot of nothing.
Looks like we'll see a cantrip here.
This is a Pithing Needle.
No, Pithing Needle.
Yep, this is gonna name Aether Vial.
Okay.
That is the super blinded out card on Aaron's board right now. So
Pithing Needle doing its job, erasing all the text off of that.
Yep, it has no more text. Yep. Don't worry about it. That is not a card. For now.
Third land for Aaron. Here comes a Recruiter. Fetching up what I do not think will be a Sarah Avenger.
I was going to say the same thing. I think he's going to search for something that isn't Sarah Avenger. All right.
Phyrexian Revoker.
Yeah, Revoker seems like a good card to have against a deck that, just won the game last game with a deck and a Jace.
Yeah, for sure.
Jace is a pretty common card for people to bring in Pithing Needle effects. You like all of Bryce's deck except for Reveler. There's only three in the deck. There are most games you don't even really see it, and sometimes you'll discard it. Discard it what? What's the foil permanent? Oh, it's the Masterpiece Pithing Needle. Sorry about that. On Bryce's side, it's a Pithing Needle.
Yep.
And it is naming Aether Vial, which is the blinded out card that you can't see because of the light.
Which will be fixed by next tournament.
next time you see us live, we will fix our lighting issues.
In for one comes the guard.
Pretty easy fix.
Getting those beats in. See some port action going on there. Lots of ports on Aaron's side of the board this game.
Yep, Recruiter's gonna bite the dust there. Lots of things getting lightning bolted. Aaron's got to figure that Revoker isn't quite enough to keep something like Jace at bay, but at the same time, you got to make him deal with the Revoker instead of something else,
sure.
Right? An attack for 1 with the Recruiter, I would... Oh, never mind. Just kidding.
Aaron's still missing double white for a bunch of the creatures in his hand.
Yeah, triple Rashadan for it.
Yeah, and a Wasteland.
And a Wasteland. None of these cards are doing much. Now, the Wasteland does affect what Bryce wants to do, though. He wants to be able to get a green source, and I think he only has one in his deck. And
well, he has it in hand, I think. Tropical.
Does he have a tropical in hand?
Yeah.
Oh, he does. So he can't fetch for it. Okay. So Rest in Peace comes down. He's probably... I'd be pretty disappointed that I drew my green source when the thing that I want to Crossing Grip is chilling on the board.
Sure. Bryce thinking about...
He can get Jason to play this turn. I wonder if he's going to choose to. Yeah, it looks that way. Okay, so a loss of 2 life, 2 fetches. I'm going to shortcut him here. getting a couple basics.
Imagine that has to be a Jace plus.
I think so too. He could brainstorm. There's nothing. Well,
it'd be a little bit weak to a sword, right?
Yeah, he definitely has enough mana to play a sword and equip.
Although maybe you are supposed to just brainstorm because you do know that there's Revoker in hand, but he does know he has the Sweltering Suns to deal with that Revoker, so I kind of do like just plus.
This is absolutely going to draw out the Revoker, and the draw for the turn for Aaron is Aether Vial. This is a redundant Aether Vial that's been named for Pithing Needle.
Yeah.
Not exactly what he wants to see at the moment. And there's the Revoker. He's going to name Jace the Mind Sculptor, and we're going to have an attack for 1. I would assume at Jace. He's got to know that this Revoker is just not going to survive.
Now, double white is going to mean a lot for Aaron. If he ever gets to double white, he has Council's Judgment that turns on Flicker Wisp, which would allow him to use his Aether Vials for a turn. Or possibly reset a Recruiter and get some more action going.
Yeah, definitely a good card.
But right now, still waiting on that second white source.
Looks like Bryce has got some things to debate as well. He's eyeing down this Sweltering Suns, going, okay, if I do this, then I'm going to need to fetch for another red source. He might not have another red source that's a basic mountain. But then again, getting a volcanic island here could draw out the activation from a wasteland, which he wants to happen because he would really like this this tropical to stay in play. There it is, Sweltering Suns. This is going to deal with 2 creatures, and then I assume we'll see Jace activation. What is your top card, sir? I don't know, but it's going to the bottom. Going to the bottom.
Alright, there's the second white, but it is another Caracas. So it's only going to be 2 white for a turn here for Aaron.
Yeah, but he's going to get this Sanctum Prelate into play, and that's an annoying card. I mean, he can always Jace bounce it, but that's the question.
I think it might be better just to go for the councils and attempt to get rid of that Jace.
I think that is the thing that he wants to get rid of. As much as he wants to get rid of this Pithing Needle, I think he just needs to vote for Jace here.
Yeah. Next turn, probably port activation on 1 mountain and wasteland. Your volcanic would be the line.
There goes Jace. And now this game is looking a little different, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. Port. What have we got? What have we got? I think it's just another land. We're going to start things off with the brainstorms. Since there is a fetch in hand, I think that's what he's looking to do. Nope. Just kidding. I think we're going to see a Croson Grip. Probably getting rid of that Rest in Peace. He'd really like to start putting cards into the graveyard because he doesn't want to draw a Reveler dead.
Sure.
You know, he does have 6 lands in his, in play, and he has a 7th for this next turn, but yeah, Rest in Peace is gonna hit the bin.
So I think now they're kind of talking about whether or not the Croson Grip or the Rest in Peace should be in the graveyard.
I think they're both exile. I honestly can't remember.
I believe the Rest in Peace stays in the graveyard, but the Croson Grip is exiled because it has to resolve
first. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I've been told how that works like a million times, but I just get it like confused with other things.
I do too, and that might be incorrect. But K-Grip should not be exiled. Maybe, yeah, I always get that mixed up. Maybe it's
Paul,
the
you
rest
can
in peace.
Paul, you can go. You can go tell him. You can go tell him, Paul. You're here.
Grip in yard. Yeah. Grip in yard, rip in exile. Yeah. I always get that kind of mixed up. Gotcha.
Paul's like, I'm outside.
Snapcaster comes down, bolt your guy.
Now it's hard to tell where this game is headed. I mean, obviously, Aaron's been kind of behind all game, but Bryce doesn't have a lot of cards in hand, and he's not exactly presenting a large clock either.
Both players are kind of in top deck mode. Aaron needs to draw a second white and then
into gas,
something to go with that. And Bryce needs to find more pressure than just a Snapcaster or more protection for the Snapcaster.
He's looking for a Planeswalker or a Reveler.
Yeah. And at this point, Bryce really not terribly concerned by these port activations. Lots of mana in play, mana of every type in play. He's just really looking for something to do with that mana. And it looks like he found a Reveler.
Yep. Done. 7 mana for a Reveler.
Sorted.
Draw 3. Attack for 2. All right. Bryce's game plan online. We see a DAC, a Punishing Fire, and a Lightning Bolt drawn.
Wow.
Wow. Sanctum Prelate. It's going to come in. It's going to name 1. Okay. Big old die there. So, Sanctum Prelate on 1.
Aaron did find that second white. Now it's just up to who can deal with the board better. And here we see Punishing Fire take care of that.
The foil permanent, yeah, Needle. Needle is on Bryce's side. That is naming the 2 blinded out Aether Vials on Aaron's board.
Their text does not exist.
Gotta fix our lighting, that's for sure.
Alright. In for a bit. And Aaron's life total looking pretty low at the moment.
Yeah, down to 9. Tons of permanents on Bryce's side. Not a whole lot going on for Aaron. Thalia is going to be the draw and play. Once again, not doing a ton.
Yeah. Thalia, okay at keeping that Snapcaster at bay, but Bryce shows Double Bolt and says, yeah.
Double Bolt, and Bryce is going to take this one. Look at that. We get Bryce in our last round.
Wow.
Oh. All right, let's jump back in with our 4-color versus Miracles. It looks like we've got a Sylvan Library, a Deathrite Shaman, and I can't quite see the other blinded out card yet. This is hard. Come on, use your art game skills, Matt.
Oh, art game. Don't fail me now.
I got 2 of them. I took the easy ones.
I cannot tell.
All right, Punishing Fire.
Punishing Fire.
This is going to take care of Monastery. That always feels good.
It was Deed.
It was a Deed. Nice. You got it. When you can Punishing Fire, like, exact damage on a prowess creature every time, I'm just like, got that. You know, like, thank goodness they tapped out with their, with that vulnerable. Admiral Nobeard, what the heck?
Hey.
How are you supposed to know our uptime when you jump on YouTube, huh? Answer me that question. I wouldn't have guessed Deed either, Static.
Yeah.
Kind of glad that went to the bin soon, so that we weren't sitting there looking at it.
Well, it looks like that's going to be that game.
I actually cannot tell who won that.
Be...
You think the monk tokens got there? I see an 11 versus 20. Who scooped?
I'm unsure.
Guess we'll just have to figure out by.
I think that was match.
They're going back. No, they're going back to their sideboards.
Okay.
Okay. Admiral No Beard on it. Taking a listen in to the stream while driving. Respect.
Yeah.
Just don't be like Brian. Brian watches the stream while driving. You guys are welcome. You guys are welcome to get mad at him for that.
He wrecks more cars that way.
You do. You do wreck more cars that way. I'm glad to see we get another game, but there's only 6 minutes left in the round. Not a whole lot of time to play.
Yep, gonna have to be a quick one. Looks like both players are pretty on top of the fact that they're gonna have to play
very quickly. Yeah. So let's put 1-1 here. That's probably why we saw an early concession.
Yeah.
They probably realized how much time was left, and
for sure.
There you go. Something else that we need to figure out with our feature match area. We've moved it kind of back into a corner. It's much nicer for the people who are back there, but we need to get a timer back there for them as well.
Definitely. Opening hands being drawn. Josh, it looks like, doesn't have any lands to work with there.
Just one, huh? He's just gonna keep. He's... Man, I can't even see what card Calvin played. Probably a Deathrite. What else could it be?
Deathrite, Underground Sea. There's no cantrips in the yard.
No. Yeah, swords. All right. Why do you have to get rid of my Deathrite Shaman every time? It happens a lot. I play my Deathrite. I kill you. Okay. But I needed that. Underground Sea, and we've got a Brainstorm. Let's see, Liliana, a Leovold. Lots of goodies in Calvin's hand. A basic island is the play. And now it's got to be a Ponder. He has to find land, and he does. He does.
For sure.
The third card down, Scalding Tarn.
Got there.
That's what you need. You got 2 chains.
Wow.
Oh man, Admiral.
German foil Dark Depths and
German foils
City of Traders.
Goodness. Yeah, that's incredible. Well, let me know if you ever want to lend me those chains. All right. I need chains for John. I just don't have one. I don't have one. I'm not making the big bucks.
And you need to set a flow chart down next to the table of what chains does.
A flow chart. If this happens, then you do this and then this. If this happens, then you do this. That would be beautiful. German chalices tomorrow. Jeez. Share the wealth. Share the wealth. That's awesome, Admiral No Beard. We got a surgical. For sure, Admiral. Not all of us can be good with a budget.
Yep.
I'm not either. I am definitely one of those people where it's like, hey, you owe $150 here, and I'm like, I'll pay you on this day. Oh, cool! You traded a lot of your collection, Admiral. That's how I've got my collection as well. I got into Legacy by playing a lot of Standard, and then moving into Modern, and then selling into Legacy.
Yeah.
And while doing that, I've been able to keep most of my collection from Modern. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Just happens over time. Don't have to be rich to play Magic, but you do have to play for a while to get there.
You do.
It's the thought that counts, though, Admiral. The fact that you say you would share the wealth. I appreciate it. Does he have a chains? No. I don't think Calvin has the chains. Oh, look, we found Azcanta. Good call. Good call. Yeah, sorry about the glare, guys. I know I've said this a couple times, but we just changed where our feature match area is in our store. We got it all set up. We thought we were good, and once we started the stream, we realized about the lights. So when we're back on Tuesday, Bryce and I'll be here Tuesday.
Yep.
That will be fixed. It will not be that way again.
Definitely. There is no chains currently in play. We were just talking about what Admiral got in the mail.
Mm-hmm. Just talking to all you cool people in chat.
The card with glare is a Deathrite Shaman, I believe.
We could use our found it in like type Deathrite. We could. Sounds like a lot of work.
And you can put the white text over the glared out card and it could still be unreadable. GP Memphis.
That sounds absolutely amazing, Admiral.
That does sound great.
However, I don't know anybody here who's going to Memphis. I know that was an option for us, but I think we passed on that one.
There's really not enough time for us to fix it between the rounds for this tournament, Flory. But for next tournament, it will be there.
Yeah, not easy. Not easy to fix while people are playing.
Yeah.
We'd have to break out the ladder and remove lights. So we can't simply turn them off. Then you wouldn't be able to see anything. It'd be even worse. It keeps moving.
Josh moving around his Azcanta.
He's usually really good about it. Usually keeps it like off to the side, but he's hiding it in his lands this time. Kind of like those sneaky Dryad Arbors that people play with.
For sure.
It's just a forest with like a 1/1 on it. No worries. Just letting you know. Not an easy fix during the tournament. I wish we had I kind of wish we had looked into it a little earlier. Actually seen what it was like to. I don't know how I would have known that.
The thing is, we've had so many players recently that we've really had to make a lot of changes quickly to get things moving.
Last week we had 84 people register in FNM. 84 people. So with that said, we actually had to, because we are getting these huge turnouts for our FNMs, we needed more table space. So we had to kind of remove one of our storage areas, and that is now where we have our streaming table.
Yep.
Our feature match area, I should say, and we can seat up to 110 now.
Yeah.
Every Friday, which is amazing. There are actually, like, when you end your round, we actually have like a couple spots where you can go and sit down, not squished in with everybody.
Phew.
Yeah. So we definitely want things to be comfortable for all of our players when they are here, and we're happy that we can kind of make our own area for the feature match, and then also have places for other people to sit.
Yeah. So here we see a Leovold. That Leovold got counterspelled, that counterspell got pyroblasted, and that pyroblast got flusterstormed. So
I think we're about to see it from the ashes.
I think
he might want to Azcanta too much. Oh yeah, Admiral. It's not. I'm not gonna say it's like way hard to get from Utah to Tennessee, but it's not. I guess it's worse than others. It's definitely worse than others.
It's certainly not an easy trip. I believe we're in time in the round, and I believe those are turn counters in the top.
Yep, here's a From the Ashes. Four lands hit the bin for Josh, and I think 4 as well for Calvin, but he's only going to be able to get 2 basics off of it since he already had one of his basics in play.
Sure.
So he's just going to have a swamp and 2 islands. Josh able to take advantage of From the Ashes so much better than a 4-color deck.
Yeah. It's basically the same thing that you see with any of the Nick Fit style decks, just able to gain advantage off of those basics, but done in kind of a different way.
Yeah. Actually, you'd be surprised, Tate's Control. Utah actually has a ton of Magic players. But the only issue with Utah is there are, I don't know, like between Ogden and like, I don't know, I guess Spanish Fork, so pretty much the entire Salt Lake Valley, right? Like the whole Salt Lake area, from top to bottom. We've got like 30 stores.
Yeah,
that's probably pretty accurate. Maybe 30.
A decent amount.
There's a lot of stores. This is more than likely a draw.
Yeah. Looks like that was a draw.
But yeah, there are so many stores, and what's crazy is most stores that I've seen are getting like between 8 and like 15 people for their FNMs, and we get gigantic FNMs.
Yeah.
We are doing quite well.
The most tabernacles per capita. There you go.
Yep. HC Fox knows. By the way, welcome HC Fox. How'd you do in FNM today? What'd you play? All right. Come back, hang out with us for a minute.
Hello.
We've already hit time in the round. I imagine this report will go in pretty soon here.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to get on to our last round where we're probably going to see some more Teamer Reveler.
Yeah.
Decks looking great. Yeah.
Probably
Bryce killing it.
Bryce versus Calvin. Bryce versus Josh. Who knows? Take the nap.
He played Take the Nap.
Nice.
I hear that's a good card. Now it's off to work. Ah, shoot. But yeah, Utah's a great place to play Magic. The PPTQ scene's good.
Mm-hmm.
The Colorado surprise. Yeah, Colorado doesn't have nearly as many stores, but it's probably. I hear it's a good place to play though. Oh, MG Flurry. I actually had a friend who lived in Colorado Springs playing there. I went down and visited. What was the store called? It was a cool store though. Look at that. We've already got matches.
Hey, look at that.
We got Kevin versus Bryce and Nathan versus Calvin. These are 2 awesome matches.
That's gonna be some fun matches.
I don't know what Nate's on today, but we always like seeing a Nate brew.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Bryce. I'm not sure what Kevin's on either, but
all right.
Not standard format. Oh yeah. Yeah, I heard of the standard format before. Not really into like the new formats, you know. Okay. Look, we already have people sitting down. Talk about a short break.
There we go.
That's awesome.
That's what we like.
I don't even have to make tons of plugs.
More legacy.
Please update some information updated here, and we'll be on our way. We gotta watch Bryce though, right?
Yeah.
And anybody want to take a vote? I'll take the first one to get to 2. Do we want to watch Kevin versus Bryce or Nathan versus Calvin? I know Calvin's on 4-color. Don't know what Nate's playing. And then we know that Bryce is on that Teamer Bedlam, and I don't know what Kevin's playing.
I know what my vote is.
You want to watch Bryce, huh?
Yeah.
I know if Captain QC were here, he'd want to watch Bryce lose, so maybe we need to have his matchup on just in case he tunes in after his FNM. Murdoch says Bryce, alright. Do we have a list for Bryce's deck? We sure do. We sure do. I only have it on MTGO though. Maybe after this round ends, MG Flory, I can pull it up and show you on MTGO. Or Stream Decker. Do I have a Stream Decker? Oh, I have an idea.
Stand by.
I have an idea. We played it recently.
There you go.
Just hit ! Deck list, and you'll have Bryce's deck.
There you go.
Got it.
Problem solved.
Easy. So easy. There might be a little purple thing hovering over our faces now, but
yeah.
All right. Things have started. Let's see what's going on.
Ooh.
Oh, we got burn.
Burn. Turn 1, suspend that Riftbolt.
I'm not sure what this deck is going to do against burn.
Well, I think that depends on how many counter spells we see.
He has 4 Force of Wills.
Yeah.
And 2 counter spells in the main. That's not a ton of counter magic, but it might be enough to get the W. However, something else to mention, Bryce doesn't put good pressure on his opponent. Turning the corner's hard.
Yep. This is a matchup where it might just be burn to the face versus burn to the face. Bryce having a lot of punishing fires and lightning bolts and that sort of thing. He is going to have to keep in mind cards like Eidolon, which, if left in play for a turn or two, could be pretty brutal. I think I'd say Kevin's got a slight edge, but not by much.
Now, keep in mind, MG Flory, I'm not exactly sure if he has changed the deck list in any way, but so far it's looked pretty identical.
So I think Bryce, I saw Force of Will Snap, Lightning Bolt,
Basic Mountain Punishing Fire?
Basic Mountain Punishing Fire.
Ponder. He definitely has a lot to do. Wow, just a fetch land from Kevin and pass.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely. In response to Ponder, we see a Lightning Bolt. Okay. He probably feels like I don't have to deal with the counterspell this turn. Maybe he is playing around counterspell. Maybe. We have a new time. I'll get that time updated for you guys.
Another lightning bolt to the face from Kevin. Untaps. And see a lot of lands drawn from Kevin. And that could be a big saving grace for Bryce as well. Is just kind of having Burn Flood out a little bit.
If another land or two is drawn by Kevin, I think that Bryce could probably get this one. However, I wouldn't say that's highly likely.
Bryce is down to 7. Definitely aware of price.
Yep.
Fetching all basics.
2 lightning bolts here. And he does have a Reveler. He wants to get this into play as soon as possible. He has a Force of Will. This is a card that's going to give him at least another turn, just being able to have that. He sees a counterspell off of the Preordain. This is another card that he's pretty happy to have. However, he doesn't actually have the necessary mana to counterspell. Although just drawing it could be good to pitch to Force of Will.
The other card was Volcanic Island, so that does give him the mana to cast that counterspell.
Next turn, right?
Next turn.
Yeah.
Not this turn.
Okay, so Searing Blaze, I believe, was the draw there.
Okay.
Not doing a ton.
No.
Not doing a ton. It needs a creature to target. Now, there will be a Bedlam Reveler at some point, but it won't kill Bedlam Reveler.
Punishing Fire is the play. Kevin drops to 10. And here comes... Looks like we're going to see a Reveler here.
He'd be discarding a lot.
But it's all a bunch of stuff that hasn't really been helpful. I mean, it really sucks to get rid of the counterspell and possibly the Force of Will, but you got to find a way to put some pressure on and capitalize on this situation.
Okay.
Bryce sits back.
I actually like sitting back here for Bryce. I understand that it may not be the best thing in the world, but he just holding up counter magic at the moment seems pretty powerful. He's going to be able to snap this, but he's just going to counterspell. He just wants to get these cards out of his hand so that he can, you know, ruin some of his opponent's draws and get value off of, you know, not lose too much off of casting Bedlam.
Bryce down to 6.
Oh, he found a tireless tracker. Ooh.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he had to fetch to get his green source, so no value on it yet. And Searing Blaze has to target a creature, and he's holding up Snap.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And here comes Searing Blaze. Now he can either force this and force away Snap. Okay.
That's the correct play.
I think so too. This way he gets to keep his, you know, he doesn't have to recast his creature.
Yep. Searing Blaze also wouldn't fizzle if the creature went away. It still tries to do both.
Right. A fetch land comes off the top off this trigger, and he does block. This is a direct trade. I think this is showing that
Fire Blast is a card,
mm-hmm.
right? That's kind of making sure that the last card in Kevin's hand is not a Fire Blast and able to deal that.
Yep. Sweltering Suns, Punishing Fire, and Brainstorm are the draws, and we know that there's a Fire Blast on the other side of the board.
Looks like
Eidolon.
Ooh. Eidolon, pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually
pretty
great.
Good here. You see a Brainstorm in response.
There is another Bedlam in there. He can either put his good cards there and like hope to cast Bedlam and draw them.
Now, even cracking off of the shuffle here is really quite painful for Bryce. 5 life.
Yeah, I don't think Bryce is going to win this one. Even though Kevin has put so much pressure, or sorry, that he's drawn so many lands, he's still able to pressure Bryce's life total.
Kevin down to 8. Is there a world where Bryce can prowess enough to kill Kevin this turn and not die to Eidolon? I don't think so.
No, definitely not. His best card at the moment is this Bedlam Reveler. He could... I think he is supposed to cast it.
Yeah.
This gets rid of Sweltering Suns. he's trying to find a counter spell for this Fire Blast, I would assume.
Well, even just having a blocker for this Eidolon is providing at least one more turn for Bryce.
Bryce seems to be very aware that Fire Blast could be the card.
Yeah.
Is that another Fire Blast?
Couldn't quite tell. It looked almost like a Goblin Guide before, but I think that'd be an easier play than what Kevin's thinking about right here. So here's Fire Blast.
Down to 1.
Down to 1. Second Fire Blast.
I think that'll do it. Yep.
There you go.
Vern takes game 1.
And after kind of a rough start from Kevin there too.
I think Nate is on a Bedlam Reveler deck as well.
All right. So we're seeing Leovold being cast and Pyroblast coming in and getting rid of that Leovold.
Take care of that real nice.
Enter play.
Nope. Oh yeah. Mardu. I think this is a Mardu Bedlam Reveler deck. He was kind of inspired by Jerry Thompson's top 8 in Modern, and he's like, yeah, I want to
do that.
Yeah, he's like, I can do that in Legacy.
Yeah. Lingering Souls plus Flashback, giving 4 spirit tokens of the very spooky variety to Nate. Calvin's hand is Brainstorm, which he's going to cast right here. I saw a Jace. Going to add a couple more cards in there, and we'll...
Punishing Fire not the best card to get rid of all these little Lingering Souls tokens, but if nothing else is going on, you can just kind of get rid of a couple. He's at a high life total. I think he is in a position where he can use his mana to kill these spirits instead of putting more on the board.
Sure.
Like why play things in Pernicious Deed.
Okay.
Pernicious Deed.
That's a pretty good answer to some spirit tokens.
Agreed. We saw the deed this time before it hit the board. So we know the card that Calvin has is a Pernicious Deed. He takes a 3.
Blood Moon comes down.
Oh, and he was right to keep the Pernicious Deed. Kind of surprised that Nate just threw this down. Calvin can untap and blow the deed on 3.
I think Calvin even had a Force of Will in hand if he did crack, but he's just trying to get value here, and I think that's going to see a Force of Will. Although, looks like Calvin might have an Abrupt Decay.
He's choosing to force over Abrupt Decay. Pitches a Ponder. Nice line by Nate though.
Hard to tell.
I think he has an island and a swamp.
Deed is on board. Yeah.
He does have an island and a swamp.
Island, swamp.
Yeah, he's doing just fine around the Blood Moon. That's probably why he didn't care really. Yeah. And that and the deed, of course. Takes another 3. Just making it hard for Nate to commit to the board even further. Deed does get cracked at end of turn. And here's another basic island and a Jace.
So Jace comes in.
Up to 5. We're doing great at the art game. Thanks, MG Flory. Appreciate it. See that card there? The one that you can't see? That's a Jace.
How do you know? Ooh, Sulfuric Vortex.
Because we art game. That's why. Yeah, Sulfuric Vortex will keep up with Jace pretty well. However, we knew that Abrupt Decay was left in Calvin's hand. And I think the black die that is up by Nate's life total is an addition, because life was gained by Nate over Grove.
Deathrite Shaman coming down for Calvin, and that's going to be pushed off a cliff pretty quickly there.
I'll push it real good. Oh, and a big old Reveler.
Reveler coming down. 3 new cards for Nate.
2 Bedlam Reveler decks on our last match. This is
love
awesome.
it.
The card's incredible. 2 mana 3/4 prowess that draws you 3.
Right?
It's great. What's not to like?
Although that one cost Nate 6.
If you want to pay more, pay more. I'm not going to stop you. That card is not getting Pernicious Deeded.
Very true. Although with this board state,
one more land. Yeah.
Jace brainstorms. Calvin looking through the yard a little bit. We see a Baleful Strix, which does a pretty good job of blocking Revelers.
That it does. Just using some basic lands there. The draw is a Nihil Spellbomb.
Okay. More modern cards.
Jace, Baleful Strix, and Nihil Spellbomb. That's the board state that we can't see. Kind of want to finish this game before we go catch up with the other one.
Yeah.
I think so.
Revelers are just too interesting.
Blood Moon number 2. Oh, maybe.
Lingering Souls first. Oops.
Throwing duels around all willy-nilly.
Yeah.
That's how we like to live our life.
Spooky tokens coming in. Now we're gonna Blood Moon.
So this is 3 prowess triggers, isn't it?
So this is 2 prowess triggers
two
so far, threatening a 3rd on the flashback. And here we're gonna see Snapcaster Abrupt Decay on the Blood Moon.
He's like, I'm gonna tap for these specific colors, and then the Blood Moon resolves. Now, is there removal? Because he can clear this Jace if he had removal. It doesn't look to be the case. He passes the phase, and we see the Abrupt Decay get flashback there. But there are 4 spirit tokens on the board, and they're eyeing down Jace pretty nicely. There's also a lightning bolt in Nate's hand. He definitely has what it takes to interact with this board well. He just decides to throw the Reveler into the Strix, though.
Reveler and Strix trade.
I think this is fine.
That's okay.
He draws for the turn, quickly brainstorms with Jace. Didn't have to think about that one much.
No.
Just like, yeah, knew we were going to see more cards this turn. Grove number 2 on the board. Crack Nihil Spellbomb.
Draw card.
Looks like he wanted a lot of those cards.
That's right. Coming in. And if Calvin has access to a Punishing Fire, still going to see these Lingering Souls tokens die pretty quickly.
I still think Jace is going to die this turn, though, because of Lightning Bolt.
Likely. It depends on what's in Calvin's hand.
Young Pyro? Hydroblast.
Hydroblast.
Bad Young Pyromancer. Get out.
In for 4. Kill 1.
Kill
Return.
2.
No.
Just 2.
Kill 2.
Lightning Bolt Jace. And now we've got a board state where we've got 2 spirits, a Deathrite Shaman, and a Snapcaster.
Now we'll see a return.
And Punishing Fire is online, easily going to take care of these spirits.
I'd say Calvin's in a really good spot here. Deathrite is active. You've got Punishing Fire going, and you've got a nice little Ambush Viper in play there with Snapcaster.
Yeah, it's not irrelevant. More damage coming in. It's Punishing Fire a token. Bring it back. Punishing Fire a token. He's got plenty of mana.
Oh yeah.
He can deal. Can he deal 6 a turn if he has it in his hand starting the turn?
I believe so. But even if he doesn't, yeah. He's got that Deathrite as well, which is able to keep that yard clear, so any future Revelers are going to cost most of Nate's turn, if not all.
I think Nate, to stay in this game, needs a Reveler off the top. I don't think there's a whole lot else that's going to keep him relevant. But with Nihil Spellbomb getting blown there, there's not much in Nate's graveyard. He probably has to like almost full cast this like a Bedlam Reveler, and once that happens, Punishing Fire is very likely to be able to take care of it.
Sure.
Collective Brutality.
Okay. Deathrite, eat your looting.
Mardu Reveler versus Glare. Listen, guys, there's a bunch of lands. 2 of them are groves. There's a Punishing Fire going from hand to graveyard a lot, and there's a Snapcaster in play. All right, that's what Glare is playing.
I promise you, there are no Vidugazis in play.
No Vidugazis.
Yeah.
Matt checked.
Yeah.
You know, because the art game, huh?
If there were, it'd be sweet. All right, so Kolaghan's Command is a good way to start getting back into this game.
Definitely.
Just being able to take that pressure off. Mm-hmm. These Punishing Fires are still going to do a decent amount of work, but now Nate has more options open to him. So if Nate draws something along the lines of like a Surgical or something like that, he might be able to catch Calvin.
Surgical's going to be hard to get rid of a Punishing Fire, though. I don't think Calvin is in a position where he would ever have to risk that. He has 2 Groves and 1 Punishing Fire. That'd be strange if that happened. Any Smallpox? Not that I know of.
Haven't seen any today. Or even regular pox.
Yeah. That one's harder to come by.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have to stream my cube. It's in there. Yep. And this is exactly what I was mentioning. He had to pay 5 mana for Bedlam Reveler. The chances that Nate can both cast it and keep it away from Punishing Fire, not high, and then we see the Bedlam Reveler quickly hit the bin there. Punishing Fire plus Grove, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It is really good. If you're playing against a non-combo deck, it can just take over the game.
Would V2Kazi be bad in Nick's Wish as fodder for Elite? Probably. It probably costs way too much mana. You could always try it though. We know, Jesse. Yeah. We know.
we moved the feature match area, so we haven't fixed the lights above where we moved it to. Tuesday will be fixed. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I can tell you that Calvin has a DAC Baden in play.
Yeah.
Matt and I are good with our art game, we can keep you informed on what cards have the glare on them.
Art game on point.
Mm-hmm. Except for that one time we like came into a match and we were like, "What is that card?" It was like a pernicious deed. It was crazy.
Yeah. Snapcaster coming down. And we're going to brainstorm in response to this Thoughtseize. Oh, we're not going to brainstorm. We're just going to let it happen. Then we'll
Jesse, oh, is that the dice card? Yep, that's the dice card. I know. I just barely said that we're going to fix the lighting. Jeez. Our lighting was good in our old spot, and we know how to fix it for this spot, too. You'll see when you tune in on Tuesday. Don't you worry. Sometimes when you improve things, you accidentally make them worse for a day. Then we have to fix more things. I think this will qualify as one of those things. Aw. What's the dice card? That is a Dak Faden. All this hate when the commentators are doing an awesome job. I thought we were letting people know what the cards were pretty well. Thank you, MG Flurry. Appreciate that. I actually think this game is going to end by punishing fire.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, the Snapcaster can help, but I just don't see Nate coming out of this unless he draws a surgical.
Yeah, and even then, like we were saying, it's gonna be hard to catch Calvin off.
Yeah. Like right now is when it would have to happen. Both groves are tapped.
Nate's saying, "Nope, I got all these, but that's it."
Yeah.
You know.
Calvin's just fetching to thin out. He's like, I'm sick of drawing lands. I don't need more of them.
Yep.
I need to find things like Force of Will and, things like that to make it so my opponent can't burn me out. All right, guys. I think we're gonna switch matches here. I think Calvin's got this one, and this has been dragging on. And our other match just barely started. This is another Reveler deck. If you guys have just been jumping in, this is game 3 here.
Mm-hmm.
Team of Reveler. It's really a red blue deck with a little bit of green in it. But this is gonna be really hard for Bryce to beat.
Resolved Eidolon. That's good for a minimum of 2 damage and probably a lot more given Bryce's deck.
I don't see anything that can kill this. Next turn, if he has a land, he can Snapcaster bolt it, but that's 4 damage he's thinking to kill it.
Not to mention the fetch land in play and possible another fetch land. Could be 6 damage to kill that Eidolon.
Why doesn't Legacy Burn play Borostrom? That's a great question. MG Flurry, they play with a card called Price of Progress. This is a card that you do not want to have a lot of basics in your deck. They play only basic mountains and fetches so that they can play Price of Progress to the maximum. Price of Progress deals a lot more damage than Boros Charm does. Usually. Speaking of Price of Progress, I see one.
Fire Blast and Price. Yep.
Yeah, Fire Blast. Yeah, another great. Well, if they did play Boros Charm, they would just have like plateaus, right? They'd still be able to throw them to Fire Blast, Colby.
That's okay, Flory. We all start somewhere.
Not a problem. That's literally what we're here for.
Yeah.
And to make things entertaining. I'm sure we're doing that in one way or another. We're either doing really well or really bad.
Third land.
Entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah. Third land comes down for Bryce. And that does give him access to some kill spells. I think the draw that Bryce wants to see the most here is a Sweltering Suns. But at the same time, it might be too little too late. Bryce is at 13 life here. He's going to take at least another 7, I think, in this next turn. Maybe even more.
Yeah, in Kenner, I haven't seen Flame Rift in a burn deck in a while. I think that's a card that's fallen pretty far out of favor when it comes to burn. But it's definitely a choice, and I've seen that in burn decks in the past.
You bet. So, Bolt you. Prowess triggers.
We're about to see a lot of damage, aren't we?
Yeah.
6 damage coming through, and we're gonna lose 2 to kill Eidolon probably. Nope, Snapcaster.
Oof.
Okay.
Brutal.
Probably gonna see a bolt target down one of these Monastery Swift Spears and a block.
Kevin saying, "Yep, Eidolon trigger." Damage coming through. And we're going to see a price here as well.
There's the pop.
A little extra damage.
There's the pop. So now he does need a lightning bolt.
This is threatening lethal.
Yep, so he should respond to this Price of Progress by cracking the Scalding Tarn and
find a mountain.
Yeah. He might be dead anyway, or at least close to it. He goes to 6 off casting the Lightning Bolt, 5 because of the fetch land, takes 2 because of the Price of Progress, goes to 3, and then takes 3 off of a Swift Spear.
Yeah, it should be lethal.
This should be lethal anyway.
Like Bryce just kind of talking that over as well and saying, well, let's see.
Yeah, let's see. So he's going to respond to the Prowess trigger. Got to make that clear because he needs this Lightning Bolt to be able to take care of one of them.
Now, yeah, has to make that play.
Loses 2, go to 5, and that'll do it.
That's game. Kevin wins the match.
All right, let's jump back over to this Mardu Reveler deck playing against 4-color. Thank goodness we know these are lands. I was scared we were going to see all of these permanents in play that aren't lands, and we just didn't know what any of them are.
Yep. Thank goodness.
I see a basic island and an underground sea. Not sure what the middle one is, but this is a polluted delta that's just getting played.
No, it's a mountain.
Oh, it is. You're right. It's a mountain. You're right.
And Vortex coming down.
Shows what I know.
And if there's no counterspell for this, this could be a pretty quick clock for Nate.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, Middleland was a volcanic island, but obviously just taps for red.
Sure.
Due to Blood Moon.
More volcanic, less island.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to flashback a Punishing Fire, because that's the only thing that he can hit. You know, Grove is turned off, so you may as well get in extra damage and actually try to make this a race.
Sure. Vortex definitely speeding up the clock and is symmetrical, so both sides are having to do it. We're going to see 2 modes come down here on Collected Brutality. Looks like 2 to the creature, and it gets Force of Willed.
Yeah.
Pitching Jace. And Nate down to 9. He might die to his own Vortex here.
He really might. Yeah. So Calvin's got to be going. Please just don't have something for the Snapcaster.
Well, even now, enough damage has gotten in that Vortex is hurting Nate more than it's hurting Calvin.
Yeah. Yeah, looting. Okay, here's a Lingering Souls. Is that enough?
Lingering Souls might be too late. It's very close to being too late. This might be the last turn where he can cast it for an effect.
Yeah. So he has to discard it because he doesn't have a Plains. So the only way he's going to cast this is by flashing it back.
Ooh, Kolaghan's Command. Okay.
Dealing 2 damage and returning... What was the card?
Probably Young Pyro.
Okay. So this next turn... Okay, he's down to 3.
3 to 5.
And then he gets to go Young Pyro, flashback, Lingering Souls.
Yeah.
This might be enough.
This might be.
Lightning Bolt!
Oh, Lightning Bolt. Wow.
Read.
Life cannot be gained. And yeah, that's the game. Nate takes that game.
Wow. Close race.
Sulfuric Vortex on the last turn possible.
He's going. Lots of burning and lots of revelers and punishing fires on our feature match table. 3 punishing fire decks in our last round.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Wild.
And then 2 of them were decks that had Sulfuric Vortex in their 75. Looks like some things are being unboarded. I think Nate took this whole round.
I think that's the match.
Blood Moon is a good card against these 4-color decks, guys. They do have a couple basics, but they have to plan really, really far ahead, and they have a couple of green cards that really matter. A couple of and then they have a couple of double blues and double blacks that they're just not going to be able to cast once a Blood Moon's on the board. So that'll do it. That'll do it for tonight. But so Bryce, you want to talk us through what happened there? How disappointing.
I made mistakes is what happened. Did you guys like I thought that the chat would enjoy me making bad plays. So that's what happened.
Captain QC wasn't even here to enjoy it.
Oh, no, I should have played better then.
It was close. We were talking about it, and we were like, this has to be a hard matchup for you. You don't have a lot of threats.
So,
because you need to get one.
Game 1 and 2, all I saw was a Goblin Guide and 1 Eidolon, right?
You boarded out the Sweltering Suns.
No. I kept them. I kept them. But I discarded the freaking Punishing Fire. Because all I had seen is spells, and of course he's playing Burn. Of course he's got Swift Spears and Eidolons and everything. And so then he drew Eidolon, Swift Spear, Swift Spear.
Yeah.
And if I had kept my Punishing Fire, I would have at least been in that game, but I didn't.
Yeah.
It was just bad mentality. It was like, oh, look at all this gas I've got in my hand, and then he drops Eidolon, and I can't play any of that gas. So
yeah.
I've made mistakes all day long, though.
Well, you sat on the right side of the table, so you know how we moved our feature match area, and it's a great area. Well, we didn't fix the lighting.
Oh.
Yeah. So us commentators, we had to play the art game a lot, where like as they were casting it, we had to like glimpse what it was before it hit the board.
We couldn't see. Glare. All right, so we'll have to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fine.
We'll figure it out by Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad. Too bad. We got to see most of what it was. There was one time where we like jumped into a match. And we were like, not sure what that permanent is. It ended up being like Pernicious Thieves.
It was like a promo version of it, right? Yeah. So I've decided that deck is stressful to play.
Really?
When we were playing it, it was stressful. Like we were on the verge of winning games, but it was like came down to the wire.
We went 2-1 in like all of our matches, and like barely lost our last one.
Always like on the last draw, and this felt the same way. Like it wasn't easy.
Okay.
Even though it should be, it's just cantrips, and I don't know. So that's
Yeah, makes sense.
I need to go take a break.
All right.
Well, thanks for updating us, Bryce. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for our 3 rounds of Swiss Legacy today. So we're gonna call it here from Paragon City Games. Thank you so much for joining us, and as always, hail heroes.
Hail heroes.